Hi everyone, my name's Michelle and I'm Mama Loves You GB here on FlossTube, but also on Instagram, and it is the 30th of December today, so welcome to the morning briefing. If you've watched me at all before, you'll notice that this is not my normal background. This is not either of the backgrounds I've ever filmed on before. This is because I'm somewhere different today, so today's going to be a little bit possibly of a hot mess, just because I had to stuff all my birth stuff in a bag and bring it with me. I'm actually at my mum's, so we are in lockdown at the moment. But Mum needed a bit of support, and we checked thoroughly both English guidelines and Welsh guidelines, and because she is over 70, she lives on her own, I was allowed to come and form a support bubble with her for a few days just to help out with a few things. So that's where I am. As I said, I put a load of stuff in a bag and brought it here. So I've got some whips, I've got some plans, I've got some haul, I've managed to grab some FFOs, actually, some stuff I had framed before Christmas that was here, which I've now managed to get my hands on so I can show you that. So I've got stuff to show you today, so hopefully it will be sort of a normal show, but it's just somewhere different. This is my mum's dining room. It's not normally this plain, but she had pictures on the wall which obviously glazed, and because I've only got the overhead light, there was just a massive glare coming back off them. So I've taken them down, so it just kind of looks like I'm in a bit of a, I don't know, where it looks like a cell, maybe. Maybe I should be in a cell. You wait until you see my haul, I should be in a cell. The other thing that Mum's got is a cockapoo, who is a bit of a random barker. To be honest, he's a bit of a dick when it comes to that sort of thing, so you might hear him random barking. This week has been, it's been an okay week actually. For the first time in a while, I've kind of felt that homeschooling has been going okay for the teaching side and the schooling side. I've been able to meet up with my year 12 and 13 students on Google Classroom and actually see them. I wouldn't say necessarily talk with them because they all go online and just turn their cameras and their mics off, but I think they're there. Those of them that have still got their cameras on look like they're nodding and look like they're interested. The biggest conversation that I've had this week was on the phone with a lady from Octopus Energy. We had to fix our electricity prices. We don't have gas from them because we have to have Cala gas in a big tank because we're so rural, but we have electricity from them. So I took the opportunity when I was on the phone to her fixing our prices just to have a bit of a chat really. I absolutely love Octopus Energy. If you're looking to change your energy supplier, I can really recommend Octopus Energy, and if you want to join on with them, then you get £50 cash back. I'll put my code below, but we're not here to talk about that, but it's there if you want it. So I'm going to start off by showing you my FFOs that I've got back, my framed pieces that I've got back. I put these in to Cotswold Art Supplies at it might have even been the end of November, the beginning of December. It might have even been way before that actually. No, I think I posted them. Yeah, I had to post them. So I posted the needlework to my mum's, and then she dropped it off with Cotswold Framing because I had already decided what I want. They knew what I wanted already. And then it came back before Christmas, so it's been sat at my mum's house since before Christmas, and I finally get to get my hands on it. So I've got two to show you. One is probably my favourite thing that I stitched last year, which is by Barbara Anna, and it's called Santa's Trips. And I stitched mine on a piece of 32 count. I think it could have even been a 28 count. I'll have to check and put it on the bottom, but it doesn't really matter whether it was 32 or 28 count because I don't know what the fabric is. Couldn't tell you, it was a random piece in my stash. So this is my framed piece using all the called for DMC, and I so enjoyed this. So much so that I'm starting another Barbara Anna sale on the 1st of February, which I'll tell you about in a wee while. So you can see those 9 blocks there, and then at the bottom, instead of having just this other kind of leaf there, I just put 20 there, so I know I stitched it in 2020. Who could forget 2020? So that's my finish and my frame for that one. I can't wait to have that one out at Christmas downstairs. I will put it up in my in the room that I normally film in all year round, but I will bring it downstairs just for Christmas time. And I just had this kind of brown frame with a bit of a lighter inside and outside to it, just for a bit of contrast. So pleased to have that back. And the other one I am very pleased to have back is Mary Clayton. So this is Mary Clayton by Hands Across the Sea. She's stitched on a piece of 36 count fabric that I hand dyed myself. So it's it is a brown, a neutral, but it's a warmer neutral, so it's got a little bit of a pinky tone to it. And then I chose to have this slightly more ornate frame put on it, just because lots of my frames in my house look like this. And I'm thinking ahead to a sampler wall, and I think when it comes to a sampler wall I want a bit of interest both in my samplers and both in my frames as well. So I picked this one out as something just slightly different, which I thought suited the piece really, really well. And then I'm looking forward to having this one up on my wall. So it's stitched with the called for, oh, is it DMC or did I use, no, it's stitched with the called for DMC, I think. Yeah, it must be. And the only thing I did was I changed the little dog from a little brown dog to a spotty dog. I'm really, really pleased with the way it turns out. It's funny, this kink up in the corner, when it came back from the framers, I actually had to go back and check the pattern. I'm like, if they pulled that in a funny shape, and no, that is right, it does that on the pattern, but I had not noticed that when I stitched it. I would have said that it kind of just carried on round. I didn't notice that at all. So that is my Mary Clayton. So I am very, very pleased to be taking those two back to Wales with me. So I have got one other finish, one thing that I finished this week, and because we're at Mum's I managed to pull off another fully finished object that I gave her a couple of years ago to show you. So I'll show you that now because it's framed and then it's in the way. It's actually quite nice to be sat at a table, because usually I'm sat in a chair with the bed next to me and I've got everything lined up on the bed and I've got to keep sort of leaning forward and getting stuff off the bed, but I've got it all kind of in front of me, so I have to see if I can do that at home. So this is my previous finish from a very long time ago, and this is, sorry for the glare, Merry Christmas by The Drawn Thread, which I stitched, oh, it's got to be 2 if not 3 years ago. I know that the red that I use for the Merry Christmas is the DMC, is it 115? And then the rest is probably just similar threads. If you look in the reflection, you can probably see the setup for my camera today. The setup for my camera today is a parcel box with a can of tomatoes on the top, and my phone is on the can of tomatoes. So there we are. So that was a Christmas present that I did for my mum 2 or 3 years ago now, but because I'm here and it's here, I thought I'd take the opportunity to show it to you. My finish, which I managed to get done, is by Threadwork Primitives, and it's called Beggar's Valentine. And this isn't just my lighting, this is a very dark picture, and the stitch looks really, really dark as well. But when I stitched it using the called for colours, and there are only 4 called for colours, I stitched it on vellum, picture this plus vellum, using on 36 count, using the called for threads, and that is what it comes out like. So I'm really pleased with how it's finished. I am going to make it into a pillow. I'm going to try my hand at doing a sort of a dangling button border, which somebody actually made, and I will find the name of the lady if I can and put it along the bottom, somebody actually made up one of my Stay Classy pillows with this gorgeous button border. And again, if I can find a picture of what she sent me, I'll put it on the bottom, because that's what I'd really like to do with that, just a simple pillow finish with the button bottom to it. So I'm really pleased with how that turned out. I ended up frogging this section here after I'd finished it because I realised it was slightly wrong, and normally I probably would have left it, but I have got the Christmas version of this one, which is it called Beggar's Christmas? Is it just simply that one? And it also has the same cartouche at the top there, so because I wanted them to be the same, I did frog that one out. But because I stitch full crosses, frogging is so much easier when you do full crosses, because if you imagine when you're doing one leg of the cross and then going all the way back again, if you realise you've made a mistake back at the beginning and you've done all your crosses, you've got to go all the way along and all the way back again. Whereas when I make a mistake and realise I need to frog it, and I don't always frog it, if I've made a mistake here, I can snip my threads here, undo it a little way, undo it a little way until I've got enough to sort of tuck back on the back, and then restitch what I need to. So frogging, I think, when you're doing full crosses is much easier than it is when you do the two legs of the cross separately. Right, that's where I am. For the first time in ages, I actually made some proper notes, but things are kind of so piled up that it might just kind of happen as it happens. I have got some, let's do some happy mail first actually. Do some happy mail before I go through and show you my whips. I had a lovely lady called Vanessa contact me when I did my sleigh, my Foxwood Crossings sleigh, and she said to me that she had some other charts for the Foxwood Crossings sleighs and would I like to borrow them. She said there's no rush to get them back to me, I've stitched them all, but would you like to borrow them? And so thank you very much. She did, and she sent them over to me. She actually sent them from America. I didn't realise because of her screen name, her Instagram name and her YouTube name, that she wasn't living in the UK. So yeah, she sent them all the way from America to me, and she's actually said when I finish them I can return them to her mum, who does live in the UK, which is lovely. Thank you. So this is a card from Sassy Jack's Stitchery, and it does have a little chart on the back that you can stitch up, a bit like the ones from Hands Across the Sea. And she wrote me a lovely note inside, and she also included a little piece of the white perforated paper for stitching one of the charts that she sent me. And then these are the ones that she sent through. Now I haven't taken these out of the packets, so I hope we won't get too much glare. So this one is called Snowy Barns. Oh, I think probably at home it would be okay, but I think I'm going to have to take these out. So Snowy Barns for the little small sleighs. I really like that. Really like those little sleighs, and I think those are going to be the ones that I start with. Then this one is called Snow Grateful. So again, 3 charts for the smaller sleds with little snowmen on. This one is for one of the bigger ones. It says RFD sledding, which I don't know if I understand the RFD bit, but there we go. But that is the size sleigh that I've already done, and I really like it, so I'd like to get hold of another one of those at least. And this one is very similar to the one that I've already done. This one's called Twilight Sled Santa, and I think the one that I did was called Morning Star Santa. So this is almost like a paired piece to that one. It's so weird to see such a stark background behind me. Right, this one is called River Road Church. How lovely is that? This one you can accommodate to make a small, a medium, or no, sorry, that's a medium or a large sled, which I think with most of the ones that are the large sleighs you can do. They show you how to do either of the two. And then lastly, she sent me this one, which is called North Pole Sled. And this is for either big, small, or you can do a just a frame finish. So thank you so much for sending me those, Vanessa. I cannot wait to get some of those knocked out, and no doubt some of them will be part of my monthly Orny Sal as well. And my other piece of happy mail was a real surprise to me. I had this letter came through, and I knew it was a chart, and I knew by her handwriting that it was from Chris at the Nimble Thimble. And I was like, I haven't ordered anything from the Nimble Thimble, which is unusual for me, but at that time I hadn't ordered anything from the Nimble Thimble. So I opened it, and inside was this chart by Puntini, Coolest Man in Town, which is one I've not got, all stitched. And it comes with that lovely little snowman there. And with it was a little card. And it's from a lady called Lesley who watches along, and she had got in touch with the Nimble Thimble, and she'd asked them to send that to me because obviously she knew they'd have my address, just to say thank you for the FlossTubes, and particularly the ones in December, which really helped her along. So I was over the moon with that. It was such a kind thing to do. Right, whips. Let's go on to whips then. I'm conscious that I've got kind of piles everywhere, and nobody wants to have piles. Right, quick wet of the whistle. And then we'll go. Just quickly talking about FlossTube. 5.84 I'm on at the moment, so 5,840 subscribers, which to me is just mind-boggling. So I think when we get to 6,000, I might have to do a little giveaway. So if you do know other stitchers and you don't think they watch me, do please give them a little prod, tag them on Instagram, and try and get them over, and then we'll see if we can get to those 6,000. Now, I have had 3 new starts this week, which partly explains my plans for February. My plans for February are going to become finish it February. I have got 3 starts planned in February, but that's it. So that's considerably better. So 3 starts in a month is considerably better than 3 in the last week, which is what I've actually done. So let me try and show you what I have started. The first thing I started was one of the Celtic Santas, the Welsh one. And this one I bought from Create Nostalgia, Mary at Create Nostalgia. And so I bought that as a kit. The reason that I started this again was because I'd filmed my FlossTube last weekend, and I tend to do it on a Saturday early evening, and then I put my daughter to bed, and then all my stuff is up in the spare room. Well, last Saturday she did not want to go to sleep, so there was no way I was going back up there to try and retrieve something to stitch on. So I just had a quick delve in my box that was downstairs, and the Santa was there, so I decided to start that one. And I have got, sorry, it's all the threads sticking to it, isn't it? I'll sort those out later. I've got a little start on that. Let me see if I can just put something behind it. That's not helpful. It needs to be something a bit thicker. There we go. So, what a rat's nest to look at. So I've just started on his feet and one of his legs, and I am doing the beading as I go. Now I know the instructions say to do all the cross stitch first and then do the beading, but my brain can't work like that. So I just use the beading needle for everything, and then I just stitch it, beads and all, as they crop up, because yeah, my brain can't work in leaving gaps for things. I don't know why, but it just can't. And the other thing that I started was winter ABCs. Now I've had the winter ABCs, in fact I've got all 4 of them, and they've been sort of twinkling around in my brain for a little while now that I'd like to get them started. And then last Sunday we woke up to loads and loads of snow, even in Wales. So where I am in Wales, in Pembrokeshire, we're just in Pembrokeshire, just right on the border of Ceredigion and Pembrokeshire. We normally have something, a weather system which stops us getting lots of snow, and that weather system is called the Pembrokeshire Dangler. And basically it's a weather system, sorry, my hair will not sit where it's supposed to be. It's a weather system that kind of dangles down from the Irish Sea, and it protects us from getting lots and lots of snow. But this time we had snow. So we went out sledging, we did snowmen, we did snowballs, all the sort of, you know, good stuff that you want to do. And so I was determined, not that I needed one, I was determined that I wanted to have a new start to commemorate this. I don't know if that's quite the right word. It wasn't that momentous occasion, but it was a pretty momentous occasion. So I decided to start the winter ABCs. And this chart, sorry, now that's the other thing that I can do while I'm here at my mum's. I can get her to do a little bit of serging for me. This chart, I think this chart has got 3 days in it. And by days I mean sort of probably a couple of hours each day. So it really has stitched up so quickly. So I'm down to K, and then it goes L and then mittens, and I think that is exactly halfway. So this is being stitched on a piece of 28 count Faience Grey by Zweigart. It's an even weave, and it's probably going to be, I don't know if I can get that far back, sort of about down to there when it's finished. Now I really didn't know what fabric to stitch this on, but then what I came to decide it was, the thing that I really like about these charts is that they're long. They're really long, and I was worried that if I stitched it on a sort of a 40 count or a 36 count, I would lose that effect of them being really long when they were finished. And so this is going to be a really long, narrow finish, which I can't wait. I've got an idea about how I'm going to finish it already. I think I showed you, oh I don't know, a few videos ago that I'd bought a pair of old doorknobs, and they would sort of join together like that, and I wanted to do a hanging finish for these. So I think that is what I'm going to do. In terms of the other 2, 3, because there are 4 seasons altogether, yeah. In terms of the other stitches, the spring one I think will sit nicely on this Faience Grey as well. And then for the autumn and the winter, summer and the autumn ones, brain not working, I think I'm going to find something more browny, maybe just like a mushroom or something like that to stitch on, because I don't think they'll suit that kind of grey with a bit of green in it. So that was 2 of my starts. My other start I actually started yesterday, and I bought this to Mum's for a specific reason, because she has got something that I have not got yet, although I will be ordering some. There's one thing I've forgotten to bring through. Just hold please. So I hadn't forgotten to bring them through, they were just buried. The thing that I've started was what I showed you, was it last week, as a bit of haul? And it's from Hands Across the Sea, Sarah Spencer, and I had found on Hoop and Frame, which I was directed to by Hedgerow Stitcher, that they did packs of the 103 threads for the various different Hands Across the Sea little gems that you can download. And I really wanted to try them, so I picked this one because this one's got 8 colours. I already had the chart and I thought, brilliant way of trying it. And the reason I bought this one to start with at Mum's is because she's got some of these. Now I have used these in the past. Look, I'll even put them on for you. How amazing are those? It's got a little light on as well, but I won't blind you with the light. She's got some of these. Now she's not a stitcher, so I'm not entirely sure why she's got these. But anyway, she obviously needs to look at something very small. And they've got interchangeable lenses. You just snap them off. I'm sure you've all seen these. I'm sure that I am the one that's late to the party. That's the box for them. Now the reason I've used these at Mum before is because her living room hasn't got much, it's not got brilliant lighting in it. So I've used these before because I want to use the light on them. But I wanted to stitch the Sarah Spencer on a piece of Picture This Plus 40 count fawn. Now I got this as part of my Patchwork Rabbit Fabric of the Month club. That's not hard to say. And I ordered 40 count to begin with, and then within a couple of months I'd switched to 36 count. So this was one of the first ones that I got. And this is where I am on it. That gorgeous border, honeysuckle border. Now the 40 count, normal 40 counts what I got, I can see without any magnification at all. Fine, no problem. 40 count Picture This Plus, I can't see. It's too dense a fabric for me. But I knew I wanted to try the 103 on this 40 count fabric. So I've been sat last night, because this is one night, with these on, stitching away on this, and it was amazing. I absolutely loved using those silk threads, and I would definitely do another project on them. If you have never used them before, let's pick this one. No, let's pick the red, because actually this red is a glorious colour. So if you've never used them before, when you first get them, obviously the end is tucked in. What you need to know is that if you pull on the end of the cotton reel, the end pops up a little bit. So I've actually got a little bit of silk there that I was using to reuse on when I get to the next motif, because yeah, this is 103 thread, I'm not wasting any of it. But what you can do is, obviously when you want to finish your thread, just tuck it, push it back down, and it stops it all unravelling. And both ends do it, depending on, she says. It's not going to win. There we go. Excellent floss tubing there, Michelle. Both ends do it, so you can tuck your ends away wherever you want to. So those are definitely a good hit. So that was my 3 new starts. In terms of other things that I've worked on this week, I have done a little bit more on this one, which is by Puntini, which is When I Think of January. I was planning to try and get this finished off, ready for this floss tube, but the one thing that I forgot to bring were the actual threads. I bought everything else in my project bag. I've just got it in one of those plastic project bags. I bought everything else that I wanted to do with it, but I just didn't bring the threads, mainly because these threads I've been doing from my fancy thread kind of random selection, and also off my cone of DMC Blanc that I've got. So I think I've done a bit more on him since I last showed you, but maybe not a massive amount. So as I said, I know how I'm going to finish that off. Spoken to the person who's making the thing that I need to finish it off, and hopefully it will be ready soon. So I worked on that, and I think actually, yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all I've worked on. 3 new starts and a little bit on January. The other thing that I've got here to show you, I don't think I've worked on it since last week, but because I had such an amazing response to this pattern, I thought I'd just show it to you again. So it was this one, Mary Catherine Harris, which is charted by Erna Hiscock. And I think last week I mistakenly called her Erna Hiscock Shepherd, but Hiscock Shepherd is the name of her business. She's obviously just Erna Hiscock. And I'll put in the description box below again how to get this chart, because you have to email her to get this chart. And this is where I am on it. This is a piece of 32 count Wren. So I don't think I've actually worked on it since last week, but because so many people mentioned it in their comments, I thought I'd just get it out again. And it's all about that zebra. Absolutely love that zebra. So I'd really like to get that finished, actually, and that I think is going to be part of my finish it February. Right, let's talk freebies. Shall we talk freebies? I've got two today, only because I couldn't choose between them, so I just bought them both. The first one is by Lila Studio, and I will put a picture of it up here. It's the Valentine's Day one, and some of the other little, some of the other freebies I sort of picked out for this episode were also Valentine's freebies, and they were small ones. And then I saw this one, and I thought, well, that's brilliant, because you could either stitch it as a big, or you could pull out individual motifs for it as a small. So I will show you, I'll show you the coloured one because it's a little bit easier to see. Now the way mine's printed, it's printed on the back and then the front, so you have to imagine this as a big long piece. So it's a Quaker one to do with love. So you've got some fantastic motifs which you could do just on their own. I really like that one. I really, really like that one. That would be lovely just on its own. Or you can kind of stitch them all together. So I will put the link for that one down below. This was a chart that was in a magazine back in, I want to say 2015, 2016. I can't remember which magazine it was in, but she's now got it on her website Blogspot for you to just download as a freebie. And then the second one is this beautiful sampler, and it was actually shared on Stacey 911 Stitchers Facebook group, and it's been reproduced by Amanda Rowe, who is the solitary stitcher, and this is Mary Jane Fry 1861, and I just thought that was absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous, to the point that I really want to kit it up and get it started, but not until after February. So how amazing is that, with that centre, with the berries on, two blackbirds or crows, and then there's those funny little creatures either side. Now in the picture they're not too clear, and actually on the chart they're not massively clear as to what they are. So answers on a postcard please if you know what they are. I'm going to show you this little bit because I don't think you can really, it's a free chart anyway, but I don't think you can really stitch anything from it, but it'll show you. Let's just do that. There. What is that? Otter? Doesn't look a rat. Doesn't really look cat either. I think it's an otter. I'm going to go for otter. We've had zebras today, why not otters? So yeah, if anybody knows what that actually is, please pop your answer in the comment box below. There we go. So it's called Mary Jane Fry 1861, and it is by Amanda Rowe, the solitary stitcher, and I will put the link for it down below so that you can go and download it. Right, I'll do haul and then I'll do plans. Yeah, I'll do haul and then I'll do plans. Now, my friend Jenny, I'll open that in a minute. My friend Jenny was doing a bit of a de-stash, and she messaged me and said that she had some charts that she was going to put onto eBay. Did I want to buy any of them before she put them on eBay? So I was like, ooh, yes please. So I bought from her Mary Hawley from the Scarlet House. I'm actually going to put her Instagram name down below so you can go and have a look at some of these, because I'm pretty sure she's put most of these on her Instagram. So Mary Hawley by the Scarlet House. This one by Abby Rose Designs, do more of what makes you happy. And Brenda Gervais Quaker Handiwork. There we go. And she also included a tart pan, because she'd been doing some finishes on tart pans and I said how brilliant they looked, and so she said, I've got one left, I'll send it to you. So bless her, she sent me that. So that's a 12cm tart pan, so I'm going to find something to put in that. She's been on a brilliant journey actually. I don't think she'll mind me saying that she wasn't the most confident finisher in the world, but she's been doing loads of brilliant finishes recently, so definitely check out her Instagram and see the sorts of things that she's been doing. So those were from Jenny. Then I picked up the October wordplay from eBay or Facebook D-Stash, one of the two. I think it's probably a Facebook D-Stash. So I picked up that one. I'm not necessarily interested in doing all of them in the whole series, but I do like the October one. This one by Artful Offerings is called Honey Hill Hamlet. Sorry for the glare. But I really like that one. That's actually quite a lot bigger than it looks. So it is 211 by 149, which isn't massive, but it's probably bigger than it looks. And then I got this one from eBay as well, A Haunting We Will Go. Now, I can't remember, I put this down in a search, A Haunting We Will Go. I put it down in a search and I can't remember why. I knew it was to do with that chart, and I saw a finish on that chart that I really liked. So I'm going to have to go back and see if I can find the finish that I saw of that. Because it was enough for me to start up an eBay search for it, so I must have really liked it. And the chart was only about £3 in the end, so it's not exactly going to break the bank, but it was to do with that chart, and somebody had done something with that chart that I really liked. And then, again, my friend Jenny, the first thing I woke up to this morning was a message from her saying, did you see Kathy Barrick's having a sale on her Etsy shop? And I very nearly bought a Kathy Barrick chart actually the day before, and I didn't. I stopped short of actually buying it. So yeah, she's got 20% off in her Etsy shop, which has got loads of PDF downloads. So I picked out 3 that I've had my eye on for a long time. I picked out the Christmas Witch, which I love. I also picked out Bird Study, which I know Alba Stitcher has just started, and I've had my eye on that one for a while. And the other one I picked out, I thought I'd better get around to buying, because I actually asked Kathy if she would put it onto her Etsy shop, because she'd started to upload her PDF charts, and I said, oh, I suppose you've still got this one, have you? Would you mind putting it on? And this was probably more weeks than I care to remember now, and I'd been meaning to get it every time. And it's this one. It's called A Multiplying Bird, and I really want to do this one with the multiplication chart on them, because I find the samplers with multiplication charts on them really interesting, more so probably than the ones that have got all of the alphabets on. And they're much rarer than the ones with the alphabets on. So if anybody knows any more charts, reproduction charts that have been done with the multiplication table on them, whether it be something like this, which is more sort of in the spirit of a sampler, or whether it be an actual reproduction sampler, then drop me a note in the comments below, because I'd love to see some more. So I can't wait to start that one. I say that about all these, I can't wait to start. I genuinely can't wait to start. And then I bought this one as well. This is Ink Circles, and it is called Reflections of Canada. And I bought this to stitch for my partner for his birthday, which is at the end of April. And it's no problem me telling you this, because he doesn't watch these videos. I could be planning global domination on these videos and it would still be a shock to him when I became president of the world. He'd be like, what? Mind you, we've had quite a few conversations when I've been stitching, and he's probably told me something really important. I've been like, yeah, that's nice. Because the number of conversations that we're now having, which start with, or somewhere in the middle of the conversation go, I told you that, did you? Yeah, we've had this conversation. And 9 times out of 10 it's because I've been busy stitching and nodding and shaking my head in all the right places, but bump. So, Ink Circles Reflections of Canada. I bought that from the Ink Circles website, and she included a little freebie chart as well. This one I really like. Now it says on it, if you look at what you have in life, you'll always have more. If you look at what you don't have in life, you'll never have enough, which I really like. And I love these, I never know how to say it, whether they're Physalis or Physalis, anything other than syphilis, which is generally what I want to say in my head when I see those. And I've got a real thing about magpies as well. Now this bit here it says parvo est natura contenta, so it means obviously something about being content. I will probably try and change that into English, or rechart that bit into English, but I love this. I'm going to put a picture of it up in the corner because that isn't the best reproduction of it. Now I will put the information about how to get hold of this chart below, because it's a lady on Instagram who is in fact I don't know exactly where she is, Russia, Ukraine, somewhere somewhere like that, and basically you just message her, she will send you a link for PayPal, and then she will email you the chart back. Absolutely brilliant. I think I bought it in about 5 minutes. It was very, very easy, and obviously because you're using PayPal, although you end up paying in rubles, PayPal tell you exactly how much it's costing, so very, very easy. And the other thing that I've pulled out is because I keep thinking about this. Now this was in Cross Stitcher magazine, so I've downloaded mine from, or I've printed mine from my Readly account, and I just keep thinking about this. Colours of Winter. And I might even use that Faience Grey to do it. I'm not going to start it anytime soon because plans, I'll tell you about that in plans. But yeah, I just keep coming back to this one. And it's got things like pine cones, knitted blankets, slushy pavements, snowflakes, marshmallows, wellies, crackling fire, quilted jacket. So yeah, I really, really like it. But I'm still not sure about the fabric, or whether to go for like a parchmenty kind of colour. We shall see. Right, I've got a couple of things to show you in plans, and then that'll be me done for today. Sorry about that. So, plans. I have got a plan that I am going to do finish it February. Other than 3 things that I have already worked out, which I know is more starts than most people would even plan in a month, let alone, you know, let alone anything. But bearing in mind I did have 3 starts last week, I think that's a good sort of place for me. Is I'm going to try and finish off lots of things that I've already got started. So my things that I have already got in place. The first one I've actually already shown you, oh there's the dog, is that one. His birthday is at the end of April, so I think realistically if I want to get it, make sure it's done by then, I could probably do with at least starting it next month. So that will be a start. My other start is going to be this one, and I've only got my printed copy with me because I didn't know whether I was actually going to have to start it here or whether I'll be back home by then. This is Plum Street Sampler, The Gentleman's Daughter. I'll put a proper picture up there so you can see. I am going to stitch it on that Access Commodities that I bought from Hoop and Frame. You can see a better colour on the back there. So that's a 38 count. And I have got, in my new little pockets, these called for threads. Now I know I don't think I've got every single one there, because certainly I haven't got the one for the house there, but I've got the majority of them. So that one will be a start on the 4th of February, which will be the anniversary of my dad's death. So yeah, Gentleman's Daughter. And if you haven't seen it before, it says, he is a gentleman and I am a gentleman's daughter. So far we are equal. So I can't wait to start that one. And the other thing that I will be starting, I mentioned earlier, was the Barbara Anna Sow. Now Creative Poppy have done another Barbara Anna Sow. I will put a picture of it up here. And these are the called for threads. The majority of them, I think. So you've got lots of skin tones, the yellow, which I think are going to be the houses, the kind of browns, which are going to be the hair, and some few other ones there. And I'm going to stitch it on this. Now this is a bit of a mystery fabric, other than the fact that I think it's an XG Designs. I bought it in a D-stash, and when it came I loved it so much I asked her if she remembered where she got it from, and I'm sure she said it was an XG Design. So this is a piece of 32 count, and it's this glorious, I don't know if you'll still see it with holding it there, red. I think I'm going to try and avoid those big black splotches, but that colour I absolutely love. Now I can see what you're thinking. You're looking at the picture that I put up and you're looking at this fabric and going, you won't see her hair on that, you crazy woman. Well, I am going to change her hair colour. A little bit of inclusion, I am going to make her grey. So I wanted to choose a sort of a dark fabric, and I am going to make her long grey head. So I will need to swap out the browns and make sure I've got kind of like the mid and the dark tones of the lights. And yeah, I'm going to try that. Because you don't see, apart from kind of older women, you don't see a lot of younger grey haired people in cross stitch, so I'm going to give it a go. And that is me done for today. So I hope you've enjoyed this morning's briefing, and I hope that you have a very, very happy stitchy week ahead of you. I cannot believe that this is the end of January, and put it this way, if all the months go as fast as this, it will be Christmas again before we even know it. Now most people at that point have just gone, shut up Michelle, we don't want to talk about Christmas now. But it's gone so fast, it really has gone so fast. So anyway, I wish you all the love and all the best for the next stitchy week, and I will see you next week. Stay classy, stitchers.